How's it going, everybody? I am the Texas Man. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous day. Please give this video a thumbs up if you guys really enjoy it. Subscribe if you guys have not already. Also, do me the biggest favor of all, hit that bell notification button so you guys don't miss out on future videos or streams here on the Texas Man channel. Also, to make sure to head over to Twitch and follow me at Douglas447. No caps, no spaces. And this is, of course, continuing on with my book read-throughs. This is going to be for Stacey, the Dark Secret. This is the second book in the Stacey trilogy. And I encourage you guys to make sure you guys watch and enjoy the three-part of Stacey 1. This is Stacey 2, the Dark Secret. So first of all, this book I ended up finishing in 2014, so this is a relatively new book that I ended up writing. And I actually wrote this alongside a good friend of mine. His name is Cody Russell, and we had a really good time because honestly I only planned on making one Stacey book. Cody Russell and a bunch of other friends and family members really enjoyed the first book, and they said, do a sequel, but make it not so goofy, not so lighthearted, dive more into the dark aspect of this world that you created with the first film. And as you'll see as we read through this book and into the third one, I honestly think I found a good balance between diving into the dark and still keeping it lighthearted and funny at times for you guys to be able to enjoy. And I'm losing my voice. So this book is going to be a lot darker than the first one. The first one is definitely the most goofy, the most silly, the most out there of them all. The Dark Secret and the third book in the trilogy, Stacey, the Halo War, they are dark. This one's a lot darker than the third book. The third book, I think I really did a good job on balancing between the light and the dark, no pun intended. But yeah, you guys are more than welcome to make up your own minds as we continue reading through this. Of course, once we end up finishing Stacey, the Dark Secret, we're not going to be reading Stacey, the Halo War immediately after this, because Stacey, the Halo War is the last book in my Avengers book series. So please do keep that in mind. So, alright, I think I got those technical glitches ironed out. So I'm going to read the introduction, and we will start continuing reading on right into the book with part 1 here. In the sequel to my great 2010 drama, Stacey, the mystery of how Stacey received the deadly cancer is unveiled. After Phil Abbey marries his high school and college love, Sara Cross, my family of 4 prepares to leave Roseville, Michigan, and return home to Dallas, Texas. The plan seems solid enough until a high school reunion takes place the following day, and grounds my wife, my son, and my daughter and I in the town for one more day of memories. During the reunion, a terrible event transpires and leads the group of friends and family on a hunt for a murderer with strange powers. Eventually, Sara reveals who and what happened at the reunion, and the news is both shocking and impossible. With little success of trapping or killing the murderer of Stacey's parents, I call up my parents for help. Their help does not come with just advice, but also a warning. Part of Stacey's message in the secret envelope back in 9th grade was not all given to me. Once my wife reveals the truth, I learn a dark secret about her. She was not always human. Can I save not only my wife, but my children, my friends, and my family from a demon seeking revenge? Will my old friends and I have the power to end Darko, or will the demon succeed in his mission from Satan? Chapter 1. Abby gets married. Year 2025. Although Jack Lightbody was a school bully and was imprisoned after attempting to rape Stacey and shoot me with a gun, on April 16th, 2025, he was released. At first I thought of Jack as a savage creature sent to Earth to be violent to Christians, but when word came that he was coming to Dallas, Texas, I began to believe he was a person wanting to harm Stacey again. The doorbell made a high-pitched sound throughout my house, and I raced to my front door to see that Stacey had opened the door to let Jack in. "How are you, Jack?" I asked. "Fine. I got a job in Maine as a fisherman. It doesn't allow me for fun time, but the money I earn satisfies my stomach," said Stacey. "You seem different," said Stacey. "Did you burn your heart of stone in anger in that jail cell?" I asked. "Yes. God did strike my heart and soul, and it was all thanks to my cellmate," said Jack. "Please come inside. We want to help you so that you can have forgiveness of your sins towards so many people," I said. 5 hours passed by during that time of saving, and before you knew it, we had won Jack's soul to God. "I am sorry for what I did back in 11th grade to the both of you," said Jack. "We forgive you, Jack," I said. "It is time I continue my life on and move out," said Jack, not finishing his statement. Jack entered his car and drove away, moving on in life without a high school diploma. As soon as Stacey and I turned around, our 2 children greeted us without making a sound. "Whoa! You 2 scared us," said Stacey. "Likewise," said Henry, seeing my son with the house phone in his hands. "Henry, who's on the line?" I asked my son. Some guy named Mr. Abbey," said Amy, the daughter of Stacey and me. "Amy, that was rude to answer your father's question directed towards your brother." "I'm truly sorry, everyone. Please forgive me," said Amy. Everyone forgave Amy, and Henry handed me our green wireless house phone. I asked him whom I was speaking to while Stacey prepared lunch for the Armstrong family. My answer came in the sound of a familiar voice speaking the name of Mr. Abbey. I was shocked that one of my oldest friends had called me. What was a surprise to me now was how Phil Abbey got my number. I learned that Phil started a band called Glory Road. He played trumpet in the band, and his love crush, Sara Cross, was the band's vocalist. Phil's band was so popular in the northern states that he planned to expand his band tours to the globe. Apologize, guys. That was correctly. He paid a guy that he knew and found my number. I found all the information interesting. However, based on Phil's voice, I knew something was being hidden from me. After I asked in a respectful but also aggressive tone, Phil at last told me the major reason he called in both an odd and secretive manner. "Sara and I are getting married in 2 months. I was hoping your family could come," said Phil. "Absolutely! Send me the information by email," I said. Phil agreed to my terms, and we continued to talk about what was going to happen in my life. As Phil and I were talking, I could hear the sound of someone else breathing heavily on Phil's side of the connection. "Who is there next to you?" I asked. "Sara. She just walked in from her afternoon run," replied Phil in the kitchen of a house. "Let her know I said hello," I said. Phil relayed the message to his future wife while she drank a glass of water. As Phil and I continued talking, Sara walked into her room, which was pitch black, and turned on the light. "Hello," said a voice. Sara looked around inside of the room, entered the room, and saw a strange-looking bunny. The bunny had fur that was colored evil black and spooky gray. His pointy gray ears were short, yet his overall height was about 6 feet and 8 inches. The bunny's eyes were larger than most, with a height of 2 inches and a width of 3 inches. The bunny, which was standing on 2 legs, had a mouth with a flame burning inside of it. The creepy creature continued to just stare at Sara, with the bunny inside of Sara's bedroom. "Who are you?" asked Sara in the doorway. "A friend," replied the bunny. Sara was horrified that the stranger in a corner 26 feet away could speak. The bunny took a step towards the twin-sized bed between the bunny and Sara, while still staring. "I have a message to deliver to you," said the bunny. "About what?" asked Sara. "The day after your wedding, you will host a surprise reunion. You must make sure Stacey Armstrong is there," said the bunny. "Why?" asked Sara. "On that day, 4 people will die," answered the bunny. "How do you know this, and why would I initially plan 4 people's deaths?" asked Sara. "How I know does not matter, but if you don't do as I say, I promise you that 4 million people will die instead." said the bunny. Why must Stacey Armstrong be there? Asked Sara. She will ensure only 4 die. No more, no less, replied the bunny. I will. Yet what's your name if things should not go according to plan? Asked Sara. My name is Mr. D. And do not worry. Everything will go as planned, said the bunny. Mr. D raised his hands to the sky and vanished before Sara's eyes. Sara looked around the room and realized he had the power to teleport. Sara began to go frenetic and bizarre and stir-crazy while searching for Mr. D in her house. Eventually, Phil could not stand his future wife going crazy and asked if he could help, after ending the phone call with me. Yes, can you help me find a gigantic black bunny that walks like us? Said Sara. What do you mean by us? Asked Phil. Mr. D, he can walk like a human, replied Sara. Sara, there are no such things. We have searched this house top to bottom without finding any animals in your house, said Phil. Do you believe me? Asked Sara. Phil was silent for 3 seconds to think of his answer. Phil opened his mouth to answer, yet Sara turned her back to him. Phil, in 2 months, I promise you'll believe me, said Sara, with her back still turned to him. Phil was wrecked by Sara's unwillingness to listen to reason and spent the rest of the Friday in isolation by watching television. 2 months later. Dad, are we there yet? Asked Henry, combing his red hair. No, but we are within the state of Michigan, I replied, driving my lime green colored Camaro. Henry and Amy looked outside of their father's vehicle's window to see the state sign. Dad, are you excited to return home? Asked Amy, playing with her beautiful blonde hair. I was silent for several seconds as the past memories of living in Roseville, Michigan returned. Stacey knew what I was thinking of, yet strongly believed I would get over the past in order to enjoy the future. My memories reminded me of meeting Dieter in the Left Behind house, Zach Zettel dying for 3 minutes from a heart attack and coming back to life. I was reminded of Jack Lightbody being the school bully and almost shooting me in the high school. The memories flashed back in my mind of Phil flooding the high school, Rosh Holmes' uncle hanging him for money, and my dad being in the fatal crash. The most important memory came to my mind of Stacey's envelope, revealing her unknown cancer that would have killed her if not for me and my lottery winnings. Amy, are there things that happened in my hometown that make... Amy, there are things that happened in my hometown that makes it both hard and difficult to explain, I said. I continued to drive my green painted car through the state of Michigan for a lengthy period of time. My son and daughter were both stunned at the beautiful landscape and the broad variety of trees. Henry and Amy were amazed at the appearance of fluffy bunny rabbits, motionless deer, and dumb geese playing in the street. After 4 hours of driving without end, I drove off the highway. I turned the vehicle with an intense force to avoid stopping at the intersection and awoke my family from their afternoon nap. What is going on that you are driving like a drunk? Asked Stacey, while the car finished screeching on the pavement. Sorry about that, honey. I wanted to make the light, I replied, while heading south on Groesbeck Highway. Dad, why don't you drive like that at home? Asked Amy in a humorous tone. I continued driving in Roseville, and 4 minutes later I turned the ride onto Martin Drive. Stacey looked at me and knew that in less than 2 minutes I would be driving on the street where several past memories haunted us both. I drove past the Roseville Middle School, which was the Roseville Junior High 13 years ago, and turned my Camaro left onto Barkman Street. It is just like I remembered, I said, seeing all the houses visited numerous times during my high school years. I drove the car slowly and pulled into my parents' driveway. As I parked my transportation, I saw my parents, David and Deborah, and my brother Devin, walk out of the house's front door. My family exited the car, and everyone was cheerful and glad to see each other. It was the first time Henry and Amy met their grandparents because of family tensions and me having to travel for work. Stacey and I wanted us both to be there when our children met their grandparents. Of course, we allowed them to write and call each other, yet that was the limitation until today. My brother, which was 9 years older than me, talked about his job still at Cedar Point in Ohio, while my children questioned their grandpa how and why he was forced to live in a wheelchair. After talking for numerous minutes, the family of Armstrongs entered the house through the front door. "Welcome home, son," said Deborah, pushing my dad into the house. "Thanks. However, I was hoping to never return her here," I said. "Why?" asked David. "Because of evil memories of things that took place here," I replied. "What about the good memories of falling in love with Stacey? Does that not cover up all the evil?" asked Deborah. "Perhaps," I answered. "Let's get inside, eat dinner, and get some sleep," said David. "Yes. Phil Abby gets married tomorrow, and it will be a very busy day," I said, seeing my old friend walking on 4 legs, Dieter. The next day came about as the following people attended the marriage ceremony: Stacey Armstrong, Devin Armstrong, Sara Blonde, Teddy Blonde, David Armstrong, Deborah Armstrong, Zach Zettel, Jack Lightbody, Henry Armstrong, Amy Armstrong, me, and many others from both Phil's and Sarah's sides of the family. Pastor Bob Johnson led the ceremony, just like he did for Stacey and me back on November 20, 2012. Phil was dressed with a clean tuxedo, while Sarah Cross wore a dazzling dress. After saying their vows, yes, and kissing each other, Phil and Sarah were married. And that's going to do it for me, guys, for part 1 here. I hope you guys will be excited to continue this read-through here of Stacey the Dark Secret in part 2, coming out very soon. You guys all have a phenomenal day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.